Hello, my name is Bunny7 and welcome back to Return of the Obra Dinn. Last time, well, we came aboard and we started trying to piece together what exactly happened to the Obra Dinn and her crew. So far, we've gotten 3 confirmed people and their fates and 1 possibility. In fact, this unknown soul, he cannot be identified, neither can he. He exploded. And he can be identified. He is tentative on his identity, though. I'm not sure about. The only information that could identify him is his tattoos. Because we've heard nothing else yet. Not a name or anything. I'm gonna try, we're trying out the Zenith ZM1 today. It actually looks a little bit easier on the eyes, tiny bit. Slightly lighter color. And here we are in the gun deck. And again, this is one reason why I think things are not as they seem with the Obra Dinn and her charter. I believe she was charged to I don't even know if she was actually charged to the East India Trade Company or not. But if she was an East India Trade Company ship, she's pretty well armed for a merchantman. There's a lot of cannons in here. A lot of cannons. Far too many, in my opinion, for a merchantman. In fact, there is cannons in the cabins. Although, how you would reload this cannon is something I don't think you would ever see. Unless she was specifically updated or modified, particularly for this voyage. That would explain that cannon in particular. I can understand there being some cannons here along the deck to defend herself. You know, a couple here along this area. You know, where there's, you know, places built into the ship for cannonballs and that to go. But cannonballs in the cabins... In fact, whose cabin is that? Cannon in the bosun mate's cabin. And I presume also in the bosun's cabin. Oh, there is a gun port here, but no cannon. In fact, this also furthers my suspicion that this is a modification. Also, the bosun has his bosun's pipe hanging up. You would expect the bosun to have that with him at pretty much all the time, because that's how he issues orders, with his bosun's pipe. But it's hanging up. So the question becomes, who hung it up? Get away, back out through the door. And again, more cannons. And again, this is an oddity. These cannons, not only are these grilled, so they can't really fire out of them, but this one only appears to have 1 shot available to it, not without stealing from this cannon's ammo supply. And there's not nearly enough crew to man all these guns. Unless they've got hidden crew around. Although, here is blood. But we'll ignore that for the moment. Because, well, this is a far easier one here. He was simply crushed by a cannon. Well, he did not have a good day. He was crushed by this cannon as she heeled over. Because the cannon was loose. It wasn't tied down. In fact, this cannon is also loose. These cannons here are tied down. As are these guns. this cannon was not tied down. In fact, it's come off its mount. Yeah, it's come clean off its mount. In fact, this isn't even a proper mount for this cannon. This cannon here has its groove. This isn't even a proper cannon mount, I don't think. I think it's close enough to work, but I don't think that was a proper cannon mount. Of course, I probably should have been looking more at the body. On the gun deck. Well, he was crushed by a cannon. Again, can't identify him. Not enough information. But we can see that there is another corpse in this memory. Oh, so that there, I think that's a powder charge, maybe? You can also see this cannon, well, there's a corpse right there. This cannon was flung sideways. Quite a strange action, and quite an interesting body over there. And here is Martin again. Came down to figure out what's going on. This cannon has its proper mount. I wonder why that one didn't have a proper mount. Was it just to make an easier model? I think that might have been just to make an easier model. Yes, there is, well, 2 dead guys in this one. Although, only really this guy can be accessed. Come on, Spirit, make your rounding way over to right over here. Doesn't have to go very far. Alright. What was your fate? I mean, we know your fate pretty much. The beast grabbed this cannon. It also crushed this guy. But this guy... ooh. Yeah, he's... well, he's lost his head, to say the least. To say the very least. So we now know how this guy died, because he was crushed by the cannon. And then... loose cannon. That'd be this cannon here. Yes, because it was jarred from its mount. And then the man who was crushed there. And here's this guy again. Manning the guns. Yes, this man was simple. He was shot by the cannon. Quite simple. Not too complicated. He was the 4th death in the Doom. In fact, there's 2 deaths here. Top Hat Man, I believe it was Top Hat Man, it looks kind of like him, was shot by a cannon by a terrible beast. And this man was crushed by a cannon. Actually, no, you could say he was clubbed. By the cannon, because the beast had grabbed the cannon and was dragging it sideways as it fired. And there's yet another dead body in the scene. And it is this guy. Who realistically should just be the, should just be the same scene over again, really. Maybe a little bit more information, but probably not too much information. Come on, stop moseying around. Def 3. Oh, he was grabbed. Okay. Yeah, this man's top hat fell off, I believe. That confirms that was him. But no, he was grabbed by the Kraken, so he was crushed. He wasn't killed by the cannon. He was crushed by the Kraken. Into the cannon. And of course, the fuse has already been lit, which has sealed this man's fate, considering he's in the cannon, effectively. He's not having a good day. Hold on. He was crushed by a terrible beast. This unknown soul. Was there another death that I did not know about? In that one, because that was that guy and he was crushed by the cannon. Didn't think he could go upstairs. This man, they're lighting the fuse here. He's pushing the cannon back. Got myself trapped here. That begs a question. One, where is the door? And two, who was the other man who died? Oh, there's the door there. Because there was another death in this man's death. Loading, loading. The cannon being crushed. Fuse. Then the cannon goes off. Partially blowing out the side. Were two men shot? Because there was a man dragging him. There's these three. He's cowering on the ground. He's not dead. There's a man that was crushed by the gun. There's a man unaccounted for. I would wish to go through these doors, but I cannot open the doors in the memories. What happened to the other man? Because just before the cannon was fired and the fuse was still lit, there's another man directly behind him attempting to pull this man free. because I can only see the one body. Yet there is 2 people who died at the exact same time. This man looks also a lot like the man who was killed there. I'm going to assume for the moment that they both suffered the same fate. They were both shot by the cannon. Because I cannot find him anywhere in this scene. So I can only assume that he was blasted by the cannon. Actually, hold on. Can I go anywhere else? No, I can't actually go up on top deck. So he didn't. Nobody died up top at the exact same moment. This, I'm gonna assume for a moment that there's his hat from that guy. I'm going to assume that the other man has been either vaporized or has been blown out of the ship. Because I cannot see a dead body anywhere. Nope, I don't see a dead body. So I'm gonna have to assume that he was, well, shot out of the ship. It's the only thing that I can assume. Unless he got flung underneath there? No. See, so I'm gonna have to assume that he was shot out of the ship. Because there's a cannon crashing back through that wall. No. So yeah, let's exit this one. I want to have a look at the way they were placed in number 3. Yeah, that definitely looks like him. So I'm gonna assume that the cannonball killed them both. Especially if the cannon happened to twist ever so slightly lower, or as it fired, then it would take his head clean off. That doesn't explain where his body went. So I get, for the sake of argument, I'm going to say that he died by a cannon shot, because it's the only explanation we have. Now, the door is over here on this. That is, well, the first real puzzler. Where did that man go? What happened to his body? Because that's the man who has the stripe on. That was the man who was tied to the cannon. I can only assume that the other man must have been blown out of the porthole, part of the ship. Either way, continuing onwards. And just take a quick look in here again. Yep, that all appears to be, well, in ship shape. Except the ship is not in ship shape. That is a real puzzler. Either way, earlier, we saw this knife. There's a dead man in here. This is not the Doom.
Oh no, you're cut.
Don't leave me.
Bear up, son. I'll stay with you.
Tell Pete's mother I tried my best
Aye.
to pull him back, to save him.
You tell her yourself. Brennan, bring the surgeon's kit.
And here we have this man. His identity is unknown, but he was knifed, presumably, by one of these two men. This guy's had his face either beaten off or clubbed off. I'm going to assume that this is Brennan, because he is... That's if he's trying to listen. This man is going, what is going on? And now that this has been opened, we can now get in a little bit easier through this way. A little bit, instead of having to walk over all the cannons and all that. It's interesting that there's two guns stored right here, with only one porthole you could ever possibly shoot out of. Yes, this man was knifed, I guess you could call it. The only way you really could call it. This guy's calling for the surgeon's kit. It's possible to assume that that is the surgeon. Escape. That's still by the Canary Islands. There's a rowboat. And part 6, in the midshipman cabin. This unknown soul was knifed by an unknown attacker. So I can go off of, however... Oh no, you're cut. Brennan, bring the surgeon's kit. If we flip back, I want to see who Brennan is. Is he... No, James Wallace is the surgeon's mate. Who is Brennan? Henry Brennan is a seaman. Alright. How many midshipmen were there? There's 3. Peter was a midshipman. Peter. So this is possibly a midshipman. Yes, there's more deaths in this memory. That we know. But... this man... is his face unblurred? This man is unblurred. He was going like this after what I'm presuming to be the surgeon said, Brennan, get the surgeon's kit. As if, you know, if you're going, someone goes Brennan, and or whatever your name, you go, you what? So, I'm going to assume that this is Henry Brenham, seaman of England. Just check to see if anybody else has been unblurred. These aren't even viewable, at least not from this angle. First mate. This man exploded. Oh, is this Pete? Because he just said, tell Pete's mom I tried my best to pull him back. And yeah, they're wearing the same type of uniform. So I think they were all midshipmen. There's a man wearing that type of uniform trying to pull another man back who was tied to a rope. I believe that this is Peter Malloy. And this man is probably the helmsman since he's standing at the helm. So there's been some information gained. Not a super high amount. Apparently we can find out who these people are. Don't know exactly who. Let's look around for anybody else that I could easily say. So let's look at this man's death. No, game, come back. Yes, yes, yes. We know, Spirit. Come on, Spirit. Play nice. So he died in the escape, but he died sooner.
What's all this, you damn fool?
So this man shot this man. What's all this, you damn fool? He was clubbed. And it broke his neck. And he's crawling away. He's coming running and going after. He's going into a midshipman's cabin. So he's probably one of the midshipmen's. Actually, is there anybody else in the cabin? Actually, you can see the knife in his back. There's somebody in the cabin. Yeah, so this man was shot by this man, and he was clubbed by this man. Oh. We have a tentative identity for him. Of course, it's never confirmed until it's confirmed by the game. So, he was clubbed by what we believe to be Harry Brennan. However, we don't know who he is, and we can't identify him. He's too blurry. We don't have the correct information just yet. Although, once we do know who he is, we can not only get him, but also him at the same time. And there's, of course, this dead man here. And the spirit's going to take a nice old long route. A relatively long route. For this man.
Captain Campbell was first.
You have a plan?
Yes. Take ship and sail east. Trade wretched fish and shells for gold. Hey, who's that?
Mutiny! Mutiny!
Fresh bastard.
So, wonder where this guy... Oh, he came from over here. He came from this galley here. And he was shot by this man. This man was stabbed. And this guy just said no. So... that... he's also wearing the same uniform as this guy, or same type. This may be another midshipman. They're both standing up here on the deck. Oh. They're tossing a guy overboard up here. Lots of things going on here. There's obviously a sword fight up top. Who is this man? Well, they were shot with a gun by an unknown attacker. Clubbed by him. He was shot by unknown. Captain will not be trusted. You have a plan? Yeah, so there's somebody else in this scene. I mean, there's this guy, which is actually the only other corpse in this scene. So partial mutiny happened. Interestingly, one of the guys at the very end helped partially either quell the mutiny. That is very interesting.
Let them go!
Okay. This is the captain. Yes, that is the captain. He's telling him to let them go. That's that man there. And this man here was shot by her. And then here come two others. Oh no, we've already identified him. He's taking an interesting route. He just came back over the side of the ship. So he was shot with a gun by... I forgot about this feature. Ooh, this actually kind of narrows it down a little bit. There's a miss and all that. An unknown passenger. We don't know who this soul was. Yeah, these two can be identified. They're... Technically, we have the information because there's only 2 female, so it's a 50-50, or at least female-looking names. Oh, there's 3 there. This is a deduction rating. Higher rating means it'll be more difficult to deduce this person's identity. Focus on the easy to deduce identities first, and leave the more difficult ones for later. Well, I mean, it's a passenger. But the question becomes, which passenger? Because there's 3 female-ish passengers aboard the vessel. Yeah, he's climbing back up from something. Where was he that he had to climb? This man. How did you die? He obviously died in the fight. But will this give any information about who this man it was? Maybe they said something. Only one way to find out.
Last one. Move quick.
You'll not take the last one!
Oh, look out!
Okay. He's climbing back up from a boat. They must have set a boat away. Interesting that they got the cage tied off the side there and planking and all that. But this is Paul. So we don't know who this man is. But he said, you'll not take the last boat, but this man is Paul. So presumably, that is his wife. Presumably, it's possible, because she said, Paul, look out. So, in my mind, I would deduce that that is highly possible to be his wife. Well, this soul was one Paul. Paul Moss, first mate steward, was killed by a sword by an unknown attacker. Now, in the passengers, is there a Moss? No, there is not. That is unfortunate. But this man was killed by him. No new information revealed about anybody else. No. These two, again, technically we could guess 50-50. But it wouldn't do any good. And yet again, there's another corpse. Below decks. In here. Ah. We were talking about the mutiny. Alright. A lot of murder going on here. And he died sitting in the armchair. Wonder how he died. This will actually be the first death in the escape chapter. As soon as the ghost gets down here. Oh, you want me to actually follow you specifically? I can't just jump ahead to where I know the corpse is. Alright. I figured you'd just come down on your own. But no, you have to follow it. So how did you die? And what role were you? He was the first death in the escape.
Put me down. Let go.
Easy now. You're in a bad way.
Mr. Squid. Where is my Frenchman?
The squid's gone. Your mate was torn apart.
The dad. The beast is dead. How? How did you kill it?
We didn't. It left with the storm. Captain came up from the hold. Said he chased it off. You should rest.
A curse like that does not live for nothing.
So he died. How, though? You're in a bad way. Was he stabbed or something? I don't see any knife wounds. Oh. Oh, no. There's just an arm. Yeah, there's an arm missing. Yeah. Right. So how do I classify your death? That is the question. He can actually be identified. Of course. Be alive. No. Axed, burned, clawed, crushed, decapitated, drowned. Fell. Poisoned. Expired. It's the only thing that fits. Although, he had his arm torn off. But at the moment of death, he simply expired. Out of this, there's a one crew member from France, I believe. I think. France is the bosun's mate. Hold on, what did he say? Put me down, let go. He's now your bad way to squid. Where's my Frenchman? I believe this is the bosun. Because where is my Frenchman? I actually want to go back to the book. Well, the Frenchman is from the bosun's mate, and he was from Austria. And Verdamp, or whatever, I believe it was a German-Austrian curse. I believe you're the bosun. Although, I don't know if it didn't expire from old age, though. Wasn't axed. It wasn't crushed by that. And he talked about the beast. I'm going to put it down by beast. Oh. It was beast. So the bosun was torn apart by a terrible beast. Peter was killed by an explosion. And Henry was knifed by Captain Woodrow. Alright. That's 3 more fates correct. And on that note, I'm going to call the episode here. So to thank you all for watching. And I hope to see you all next time.